Hello, Tessa. It's so nice to chat with you. And I feel like you are absolutely the person for me to interview because not only are you gloriously grey, but you're also called Tessa Grey. So it seems to me that you are the ideal person for me to chat to. So you've been telling me that you are an image consultant. And I wonder if you can tell me a little bit more about what that entails and what you do.
Well, really, I think as an image consultant, what we really look at is the whole image. And some people do just pieces of it, but really what I do is I like to do everything. We do the color, we do the style. I was trained in Paris. I have the haute couture background. And I think what's probably sets me apart from a lot of other people is that I can look at an outfit and know what's wrong with it or know why something doesn't work. And so really with image, what we do is we do the way you look, the way you feel, and the way you present yourself. And it's really the overall effect, because it's really aligning with who you are, what you do, and who you really want to attract. Because you can use your image to attract the right clients, repel the wrong ones, and really to just as a real confidence booster. For some people, it's just a massive confidence booster, because I think we live in a world of fast fashion. There's so much clothes, and particularly for women, the choice is so enormous. A lot of women have no idea what to buy, what to wear, and will just say what the shop assistant says, not realizing that they're really for a sale, not necessarily to sell you the right garment.
And you work with men and women.
Yeah.
So I absolutely agree with what you say, and I find it quite frightening when I see ladies, let's look at that, trying to dress like their daughters and thinking that they look as good as their 20-year-old daughters when they're considerably older, it doesn't necessarily suit them, that style. They may be slender enough, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should wear those clothes. What do you say to that?
Well, absolutely. I remember buying a dress. Well, actually, it was when I was writing up for a trainer. I had to go to lunch, and I didn't have a dress to wear because I was just jeans and joggers. That was all I was. I was there for just to ride out. And a friend of my sister's mother had bought the same dress. And she said it looked completely different on me in my 20s than it did on her mum. I never saw her mum in it. But I think it does. And certainly when I was making clothes for women, quite often they'd say, because they were usually older than me when I was in my 20s, they'd say, but I don't want to look like mutton dressed as lamb. And I think one of the things that as you get older, the colors that you choose are really important, because very often it's the colors that will work on a much younger person that actually don't work for me are older.
I wanted to ask you, because you're celebrating your grace, and was this a conscious choice to say, well, I'm just going to do this? What was your journey? Just, I'm assuming, stop coloring your hair.
Yeah, well, I remember going to the hairdresser and thinking, oh, I think I ought to colour it. And so anyway, I had it cut, and I had a few grey bits in it. And so he just did a rinse, and it looked amazing. And I did that for a long time. And then in lockdown, and I've kind of been wondering about my hair, because my brother has exactly the same colour hair as me, and he looks amazing. And my dad, I've got auburn lights in mine, but Dad had black hair, and he always looked really good as he got older. And I think it was just in lockdown, and so I suppose I hadn't had my hair coloured since about the beginning of December. And so by June, it had really grown out. So I just went to a hairdresser and said, right, chop it off. And I really, what I was finding is that when it was dyed, it was actually going much more auburn, because of the auburn lights in it. But having chopped it out, it's gone back to that much sort of cooler tint that it always. I have weird hair because it's a black with, it's sort of blackish, very dark brown black with auburn lights in it. So I've got both. I've got the cool and the warm tones in it. So to color it, I think it was quite difficult.
So you're out there, you're openly grey, and you've made that step. So once you did that, and given that you are an image consultant, did that then move you to start looking at your own wardrobe and make dramatic changes?
Not really.
And so when you work with your clients, if they as they get older, do you advise them differently than you would perhaps somebody who's younger?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, in fact, had a client, well, I know about 10 years ago, I suppose. She wanted an outfit for Ascot, and she wanted she wanted it to be red. And the red she wanted, I said, nope, you need a much softer one. And she slightly fought against it. But again, her hair was dyed, but again, it was a warmer red. Anyway, I chose the color of the fabric. She had it made up, and well, in fact, I made it for her. But once she'd had it done, she said, honestly, Tessa, you were so right. I hadn't realized how hard the colors that I used to look so vibrant on me look now. So you need to, so as you get old, because it's your skin tone changes as well. So the whole thing about color is actually choosing the colors that enhance your skin tone and your hair tone so that you look good. And when you get it wrong, it can make you 10 years older, look 10 years older. And when you get it right, it can make you look 10 years younger, literally. So
I have a lot of people, sorry, yeah, I was saying, I have a lot of people saying to me, oh, well, you have the right skin tone. But there's a whole range of skin tones that suit grey hair. Do you not think?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody's hair, we all age, and as we age, our skin tones change, and the only thing that doesn't change is our eyes, but our hair and skin tones get lighter as we get older, unless you have very dark skin. But certainly for all of us pale things, it does get lighter, and when you get it right, so if you need to choose, you go into slightly more pastel colors or softer colors as you get older. And it just looks so much better. Whereas if you stick with the bright jewel colors, it's actually quite aging and it looks quite hard. It's just not so attractive.
So if a lady were coming to you and was thinking of either transitioning to grey or was already there, and they wanted to they asked you for one bit of advice, what would you say to them about this?
I think it's about how you feel about it. And it's also the reasons for doing it, because there are all sorts of reasons. One is having your hair dyed all the time, it's not necessarily great for you. Some people are allergic to the dye, can't do it any longer. It's about how you feel about yourself and about where your career is going and what how you're perceived and how you want to be perceived. And I really think it's about the inner confidence as to whether you are actually ready to embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some people turn grey in their 30s,
yes,
and it just happens.
And they're okay with it.
Yeah, and then I've got other clients who, have dyed their hair for years, and certainly in their 50s, that they're maybe not ready to embrace it. And in fact, I met a friend of mine recently, In fact, we've known each other since we were toddlers pretty much. And she said, "Oh, I wish you'd dye your hair, get your hair dyed again." I'm thinking, no, I don't need to. I love it like this. In fact, people even after I kind of went like this, people said, "Oh my God, your hair looks amazing. Is it dyed?"
Yeah.
No, it's real.
But the interesting thing about your friend is that sometimes women feel that by association, you make them feel older, because being with grey ladies might mean that you're one of them, and that's still associated with being an older person.
Well, considering all the people round about were older than me, and and they didn't have dyed hair. I don't know. I'm not really quite sure why she said so. I think she didn't want me to look. She wanted me to look younger, but I'm pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way I look.
Yes, and it's gorgeous. Obviously, I don't know what your hair looked like before, but it's fabulous. And do you think that it has an impact, though, the hair color, on job opportunities? I'm going to say especially for women, because men are a whole different conversation. But do you think that women will feel that that might impact their opportunities in work if they are now perhaps revealing that they are not actually auburn or dark or whatever color?
I think that's true. Yes, and I definitely think it's true. And certainly, as your yeah, I mean, I can remember a friend of mine having had this sort of grey streak in her 40s or something, and she was very upset when I said something about, well, you could always die. But actually, it was really striking. But I think in the corporate world, I think for women, I think there's so much peer pressure, and there was actually an awful lot of peer pressure on me when I started going grey in my, I suppose, late 40s, early 50s. And I just dyed it because I didn't want to, because I did actually look older. I think it depends where you're at in your years, because it can make you look older than you really are. But also, if it's not dyed correctly, it also makes you look older too.
Yeah. But I think it's I don't know if you agree, but I do feel it's time for ladies especially to just embrace who they are and where they are, whatever they decide to do. And it's time for there to be a change in perception, because grey men are always wiser, and they have the advantage of experience, etc. And I think it's time for women to show that the same thing.
I think so, and I think so as long as I really think I think it depends on the age that you go grey. Really, I think that's where the bit of the hiccup is, because I think that for women, I think there's so much pressure on the way they look, and you have to be hugely confident just to step up that this is me. And I think a lot of people maybe aren't as confident, but good on you. And I think when people really embrace it and use their natural colouring and actually dress to flatter it, which is really what I help people do, to enhance it and flatter it. Once you know how to do that, then it's fine. You can just show up and be you, and it's fabulous.
So I guess it's not really a point about what your colour is how you wear it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's how you wear it, how you be it, and just owning it. And so, if you look in the mirror and think, yes, I've nailed it, that's all you need to know. It doesn't matter what other people think, because the fact that you know that you have owned it, you already have that magnetic attraction, and people are not really going to put you down for it. And also, you can also turn around and say, if somebody is rude about it, you can just say, you you can encounter it, I think, in a different way.
I agree. Well, I think you've nailed it, Tessa. I really think you've nailed it. I think you look incredible. And it's been really great talking to you. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.